Hey, Grace House Churches. Hopefully, you have enjoyed dinner, and now we can talk about Daniel chapter 3. So, in the story, King Nebuchadnezzar sets up a statue of himself, invites all the leaders from every tribe, tongue, nation, and background, and demands that they bow down when they hear the music. Music plays, everyone bows except for three guys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Nebuchadnezzar's furious. He tells them if they don't bow, they're going to get thrown into the fire. They don't care. They say, God can save us. He will save us. Even if he doesn't, we'll burn. They're thrown into the fire. When Nebuchadnezzar looks in, there's a fourth man in the fire. Nebuchadnezzar brings him out. They don't even smell like smoke. And the king says, the gods of these three guys is the true God, and shows respect towards Yahweh. So that's the story. We looked at it and we tried to apply it to our lives in a few different ways. The first one was that every generation is going to be asked to bow down to the idols of the world. This is a literal place with the literal idol, but we have metaphorical ones as well. We're going to be invited to be quiet, to stay silent in the face of opposition, and to stay down instead of to stand up. Secondly, we said that the same way that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were faithful, they were also criticized. Like, people brought criticism against them. And so we will be criticized for following after Jesus. That's a normative thing in our world, and it should be expected. And then we moved on to say that when they do stand up, it's not a moment of inspiration, it's a moment of instinct. This is who they were. Their private life had led them to this public moment, and they were able to stand because of all this private faithfulness they had walked in for years. And then I talked about just our church needing to have that kind of faith, that even though we don't have the context, we need the theology that says following Jesus can cost something. That today in the world, there are many millions of followers of Jesus who are persecuted for their faith, and they have got to stay faithful, believing that God will deliver them either from death or by death, and how we need this faith that says God can heal me, he will heal me, but even if he doesn't, I'll stay faithful. That we believe God and trust him, and also when we don't get what we think we want, we stay faithful to God. And so then we close the sermon just by asking the question, do you recognize what's at stake in your worship? That you can bow down to the world or you can bow down to God, but you can't bow down to both. And what's at stake is that if we would be faithful in the same way that they were, by God's grace, he could put his glory on display for every tribe, every tongue, and every nation. That in Daniel chapter 3, you have a parallel to Revelation 5. That if you don't bow in this worship service, the cultural moment, one day you get to bow at the eternal worship service where Christ is reigning as a true king who is worthy of worship, not like Nebuchadnezzar who's not worthy. And so, church, there's a lot to cover. I hope you guys can have conversations about where you land on all of this. And by God's grace, we would be worshipers who bow down to the true king, not the false kings of this world.